Hi, my name is Caitlin LaBush, and today I will be discussing Elon Musk. So, who is Elon Musk? Well, he was born June 28, 1971, in South Africa. He is the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, along with many other companies that we will be discussing. He is an entrepreneur and inventor, and he is a billionaire. Now let's get into some of his background. In 1996, he co-founded an online business directory for newspapers called Zip2. Following that, in 1999, he founds X.com, which is a banking startup. In 2002, he found SpaceX, which is a private space company that is essentially aiming for Mars. In 2004, he joins Tesla and became the CEO. In 2006, he co-founds SolarCity, which is a solar energy company, and it later in 2016 merges with Tesla. In 2015, he co-founds OpenAI, which is a nonprofit AI research lab, and in 2016, he founds Neuralink and Big Boring Company. Neuralink is a brain-computer interface company, and Big Boring Company is a tunnel construction and transportation company. In 2022, he bought Twitter, which is now called X, and that is a social media platform. And he is very big on no censorship and allowing free speech amongst everybody on that platform. Now, there are many traits that leaders do exhibit. There are 6 key traits, though, that we are going to be looking at today, and Elon Musk does exhibit all 6 of these traits. The traits include intelligence, competence, charisma, determination, social ability, and integrity. Now, let's look at how Elon exhibits some of these traits. So let's start with intelligence. So to start off, he is a self-taught rocket scientist. So that alone shows that he does exhibit much intelligence. He also studied physics and economics at UPenn. He understood and explained complex AI risks years before others. This one is very telling because AI is something very new to everybody. So for him to be able to actually dive deep into the complex area that people weren't really speaking of was a very big deal and shows great intelligence on his part. He also solves engineering problems himself at Tesla and SpaceX, and he's able to deep dive into coding, design, and physics, which is shown on multiple platforms of him discussing these areas with experts, and he's able to hold these conversations and understand and add to them, which is very impressive. He also exhibits great confidence. So he actually invested his own money into Tesla and SpaceX. That obviously shows that he really believes in himself in order to put his money behind these companies. He publicly stated that he would land people on Mars, which is a very big claim to make. And for him to state that publicly, he must really believe that he's going to be able to do it. And he launches and discusses nuanced, futuristic ideas all the time. He also exhibits great determination. So Musk actually had 3 failed rocket launches before he had one that was successful. He also ignored all the criticism and just stayed focused on his goals because throughout his career there has been many skeptics, and he just keeps pushing forward and keeps proving them wrong with the success of himself and his companies. He also worked over 100-hour weeks during the Tesla production and even slept on the Tesla factory floors. So this was a really big thing that was going on, and he made it very clear that he was working overtime. He was working so hard he wouldn't even leave the office, and he was sleeping there. So that definitely shows great determination. Next, let's look at integrity. So he shows integrity by, he has his open source Tesla patents to fight climate change. So, that's a great source of integrity. He also advocates for responsible AI development, which is actually a really big one because if AI does get in the wrong hands, it can be used for, bad rather than good. He also prioritizes long-term good over short-term profit. So, I mean, he's already a billionaire. He doesn't really need the extra money. So he's really focused seemingly on doing good.
Hi, my name is Stephen Andrews, and I will be discussing Musk leadership styles. First we have Theory Y. Theory Y is defined as a theory that individuals inherently like to work, are self-motivated, and accept responsibility. Elon Musk leadership following Theory Y. The leadership characteristic that Musk presents at his companies of Tesla Incorporated and SpaceX directly align with the ideas of people like to work especially for someone and something that they are passionate about. Musk has a different outlook on work. He sees it as a fulfilling and meaningful activity rather just due diligence and busy work to get a job done. Theory Y continued. Self motivation specifically. Musk is a big proponent of self motivation within his teams and is not a fan of using external reinforcements. This correlates to Theory Y, where people will motivate themselves to get work accomplished. Musk is a believer that people can motivate themselves when the work they are provided is engaging and to them can be quite meaningful. Musk empowers his employees' motivation by delegating responsibilities to them by trusting them to take ownership of the responsibilities. Musk wants his employees to take charge and make impacts on projects that will lead to higher production for the companies. The next process we will talk about is the authoritarian approach, also known as Theory X. This is a hands-on involvement in every aspect of the process, creates high standards of performance which line up with Theory X. Musk using both types of theories. Musk uses both Theory Y and Theory X as CEO of his companies. Theory Y can be seen through the use of employee motivation and responsibility by giving them bigger projects and work that is engaging to the employee. Theory X has used the authoritarian approach, which expresses high standards for performance and excellence through the companies.
Managing conflict. So, first of all, conflict is defined as a felt struggle between two or more individuals over perceived incompatible differences in beliefs, values, and goals, or over differences in desires for esteem, control, and connectedness. So, conflict in a constant feature of Musk's leadership, or is a constant feature of Musk's leadership, both within his organization and in public versus public engagement. He approaches conflicts with a competitive style, aggressively inserting his position rather than seeking compromise. He has feuded publicly with regulators, investors, and employees, frequently taking to social media to air his grievances. Although the competitive strategy has created tensions, it has also cemented his reputation as a decisive, uncompromising leader. Here to Musk, he has shown that he can be a deal maker as he has forged an alliance with both NASA and other government agencies. Using principled negotiation, he has successfully been able to reach wins in high stake situations. He questions existing paradigms specifically to move the process forward, consistent with a conflict resolution strategy focused more on results than on niceness. At other times, his combative style has worked against him, creating unneeded clashes that affect employees' morale and shareholder confidence. Musk's leadership also displays a different breed of conflict resolution by disruption. It doesn't fear conflict, it embraces it. His vanguard leadership in the electric vehicle and space sectors highlight his natural inclination to challenge established paradigms, often causing a bit of friction but ultimately resulting in a substantial innovation. But that same relentlessness, or same relentlessness hunger, or restless hunger, I guess, for disruption can fuel an internal war as employees find themselves scrambling to meet a milestone for his high expectations and turbocharged decision-making process. So within managing conflict, how does Elon Musk handle the conflict? Well, it says it perfectly right here. This is actually a quote that came out of Elon Musk's mouth. I always move my desk to wherever. I don't really have a desk, actually. I move myself wherever the biggest problem in Tesla is. And that is coming straight from Musk's mouth. So,
Hello, my name is Tyler Murphy, and I'm here to go over the conclusion with you. To recap the CEO analysis of Elon Musk, we've seen what it means to be a leader through intelligence, confidence, determination, and integrity, and how those key traits help navigate Elon to where he is as a leader today. Along with that, we have seen how Elon uses both authoritarian approach theory Y and X in his hands-on leadership and work with his self-motivation and high standard hands-on work ethic. The way Elon Musk uses task and relationship style in his work to balance the relationships around him to meet his goals. And finally, how Elon handles his conflict as a leader, which for him is to be wherever the problem is and use his leadership to face it head on. All of these are what makes Elon Musk one of the greatest leaders we've seen in our time. Thank you for your time.